Everyone thinks you need a high income to build wealth. They think rich people got there because they made six figures, or had some big business idea, or were born into money. But here's the truth. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about what you do with what you earn. Because you can make $200,000 a year and still be broke. Or make $40,000 and become financially free. The difference isn't income. It's behavior. It's mindset. It is what you do with your money. Let's start with a simple truth. If you can't manage a small amount of money, you won't manage a large one either. Wealth doesn't magically appear when your paycheck gets bigger. It grows when your habits get smarter. And the people who truly build wealth, the ones who retire early, travel freely, and live without stress, they mastered one thing most people ignore: financial discipline. You don't need a high income. You need a high commitment to your future. Let me explain. Imagine two people. One earns $120,000 a year and spends $115,000. The other earns $45,000 and spends $30,000. Who is wealthier? It's not the one with the fancy salary. It's the one who keeps more of what they earn. Because wealth isn't about what comes in. It's about what stays. Most people fall into a trap called lifestyle inflation. The moment they earn more, they spend more. A raise at work means a new car. A bonus means a new phone. A promotion means a bigger apartment. But every time they upgrade their lifestyle, their freedom gets downgraded. Because they're working harder not for wealth but to maintain their bills. They're trapped in what's called the earn, spend, repeat cycle. And that cycle keeps millions of people poor no matter their income level. So how do you break out of it? How do you create wealth even when your income isn't high? The answer lies in three simple steps. 1. Control your spending. 2. Grow your savings. 3. Invest your difference. It sounds simple, but it's life-changing when you commit to it. Let's start with step 1. Control your spending. This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about awareness. Most people don't even know where their money goes. They just swipe, tap, and spend until the month ends and they wonder why their account is empty. But the wealthy? They track every dollar. Because they understand this rule. What gets measured gets managed. If you want to create wealth, start by knowing your numbers. How much comes in? How much goes out? And most importantly, what's left over? Even if you earn $2,000 a month, you can create wealth if you keep $200 of it. Because that $200 is your freedom fund. That's the money that will eventually work for you instead of you working for it. Now, let's talk about step 2, growing your savings. Here's a mindset shift that can change your entire financial future. Don't save what's left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. That's how rich people think. They treat savings like a bill, a mandatory payment to their future self. Because if you wait to save after expenses, there will never be anything left. But if you make saving automatic, say 10% or 20% of your income, you'll adapt to living on the rest. That's how financial discipline turns small incomes into big results. Even small savings can snowball over time. Let's say you save $300 a month and invest it with an 8% annual return. After 10 years, you'll have about $55,000. After 20 years, over $170,000. After 30 years, nearly $450,000. All from just $300 a month. That's not magic. That's math. And that's the power of time plus consistency. Wealth doesn't need a high income, it needs long patience. Now step 3, invest the difference. This is where your money starts working for you. Most people think saving money in the bank will make them rich. It won't. Because inflation silently eats away at your savings. If your money isn't growing faster than inflation, you're actually losing wealth. That's why you must invest. It doesn't matter if it's in index funds, stocks, real estate, or your own business. The point is, you need your money to grow. Here's the secret the wealthy understand. You don't need a high income to build wealth. You need assets that produce income for you. Assets are anything that make money while you sleep. Stocks, bonds, rental properties, digital products, businesses. The goal is to own things that pay you instead of just trading time for money. Now, you might be thinking, but I can barely save right now. How can I invest? Here's the truth. You start small. You don't wait to be rich to invest. You invest to become rich. Even $10 a week matters. Because the act of investing builds a wealth mindset, a belief that you are building something bigger than a paycheck. And once you adopt that mindset, your income, no matter how small, becomes a tool for freedom. Let's talk about the wealth gap between the rich and the middle class. It's not just about earnings. It's about ownership. The rich own assets. The middle class owns liabilities they think are assets. A car isn't an asset, it loses value. A house can be, but only if it generates income or appreciates faster than costs. Your phone, your clothes, your furniture, they do not make you money. But stocks, real estate, or digital investments can. So if you want to build wealth without a high income, focus on ownership. Don't just consume, accumulate. Another huge factor? Mindset. Wealth is built in the mind before it is built in the bank. Poor people think short-term. Rich people think long-term. Poor people ask, how can I afford this? Rich people ask, how can I make this pay for itself? It's not about denying yourself good things. It's about delaying gratification long enough to afford them forever. Here's a reality check. You don't have to earn a lot to retire early. You just have to live below your means and invest the difference consistently. Look at everyday millionaires, not celebrities, not influencers, but real people who quietly built wealth. Most of them never made six figures. They just started early, stayed consistent, and avoided debt. They understood that time is more powerful than income. Because wealth isn't built by how much you make, it's built by how long your money works for you. Let's dive into debt, because this is where many people lose the wealth game. Bad debt like credit cards, car loans, and high-interest personal loans keeps you trapped. Every dollar you owe is a dollar that can't grow for you. So your first step toward wealth is eliminating bad debt. Once you're free from that, redirect those payments toward investments. The money you used to pay lenders will now start paying you. But not all debt is bad. There's something called productive debt, money you borrow to acquire income-producing assets. For example, a business loan that expands your income, or a mortgage on a rental property that earns more than it costs. Smart debt builds wealth. Stupid debt destroys it. The difference, again, is mindset and patience. Another key to wealth without a high income is increasing your value. If you can't raise your income right now, raise your skills. Learn something that makes you more valuable in the market. Take online courses. Start a side hustle. Build digital skills like copywriting, coding, design, or investing knowledge. When you grow your skills, your earning power grows even if it is slow at first. And over time, your income catches up to your wealth mindset. Here's what most people don't realize. You can't out-earn bad money habits. No matter how much you make, if you spend it all, you will always feel broke. But if you control your money early, even with a small income, you will always have options. Options to invest. Options to say no. Options to walk away from stress. And that's real wealth. Let's talk about comparison. One of the biggest wealth killers. We scroll through social media and see people flaunting lifestyles that seem impossible on our income. But most of those people are living on credit, not cash. They look rich but feel broke. Don't fall for that trap. Wealth isn't about what it looks like, it's about what it feels like. Peace, security, freedom. Those can't be bought, they're built. So how do you build wealth step by step, even with an average income? Here's a simple roadmap. Track every expense for 30 days. You can't fix what you don't see. 2. Cut unnecessary spending. Not everything, just what doesn't add value. 3. Build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. 4. Pay off high-interest debt. 5. Start investing automatically, even small amounts. 6. Keep increasing your income through skills or side hustles. 7. Repeat for years, not months. That's it. No tricks, no secrets. Just time, consistency, and control. It's not glamorous. It's not fast. But it works. Because wealth isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. And once you build that foundation, everything else becomes easier. You sleep better. You worry less. You stop chasing money because money starts chasing you. One of the best examples of wealth without high income is the story of the janitor who became a millionaire. His name was Ronald Reed, a gas station attendant and janitor who never made more than a modest salary. But he lived simply, saved consistently, and invested in blue-chip stocks for decades. When he passed away, he left behind an $8 million fortune. No business, no inheritance, just patience and discipline. That's the power of steady, quiet wealth building. The truth is, anyone can build wealth. You don't need luck. You don't need connections. You don't even need a big paycheck. You just need time, discipline, and purpose. Because the real secret to wealth isn't money, it's control. Control over your habits. Control over your spending. Control over your emotions. Once you have that, money naturally follows. So stop saying, I will start when I earn more. Start now. Even if it is small. Even if it feels insignificant. Because wealth is built from momentum, not perfection. And every small step adds up to something massive. Here's the truth. Most people wait for more income to start saving. The wealthy start saving to create more income. That's the difference. They play offense and defense at the same time, growing their income while protecting it from waste. And that's how ordinary people become extraordinary with money. So if you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. You don't need a high income to create wealth. You need high intention. You need to stop living like everyone else and start thinking like an investor. Because your wealth isn't defined by your paycheck, it's defined by your priorities. Your paycheck feeds you. Your habits free you. And the day you master that difference, that's the day you stop surviving and start building wealth. Start small. Stay consistent. Be patient. And remember, it's not about earning more. It's about owning more. That's how you create wealth without a high income. If you found this message inspiring, share it with someone who feels stuck financially. Remind them they don't need to earn more to live better. They just need to think smarter, act earlier, and stay patient. Because the journey to wealth doesn't start with a raise. It starts with a choice.